G'day Vault Dwellers and people of the Wasteland, my name is TYR and today I have a very special video. I am joined here with none other than the legendary creative director Jonathan Rush, here in the flesh in the London offices of Bethesda Game Studios. I was lucky enough to be granted the opportunity to fly up to London to playtest the upcoming Playable Ghoul feature within Fallout 76, so keep an eye out on my channel for a few videos detailing what I've learnt. In this video today, myself and John are going to discuss the recent success of Fallout and the bright future we have to look forward to with the upcoming Playable Ghoul feature and the new MMO style raid content. Let's jump straight into the interview. G'day everybody, this is TYR and we're doing an interview today with lead creative director Jonathan Rush. Welcome mate, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for having me, it's great to meet you.
Alrighty, let's jump straight into some questions. We're here today testing out the new ghoulification feature coming to Fallout 76 and the Gleaming depths. So let's just jump right into it. We'll start off with a nice easy question just to break the ice. You have a pretty great self-made character with its own lore, going by the name of Captain Nuke McCloud. Can you tell us a bit about where it came from and what build you're currently running at the moment with that guy?
Captain Nuke McCloud came from me being at home one morning on a weekend and getting way too hopped up on coffee. Thinking, you know what I should do? So yeah, there's not really much of a background story for where the character came from. I just thought it would be a fun vessel to be able to use to hop on social media and be like, hey everybody, let's go drop some nukes. Captain Nuke McCloud, of course, by the name alone, you know that's someone who loves dropping nukes. So that's where Captain Nuke McCloud came from. But it's fun getting on there, getting everybody psyched up and jumping on a server and running through silos. It's been great. So I do need to adapt Nuke McCloud a bit for playing the raids because as Captain Nuke McCloud currently stands, he's a bloody build and that's like one shot by the Guardian bot right out of the gate.
Difficult in there. So Captain Nuke McCloud, that is definitely like when I first saw your post, it does its job. I was like, wow, this guy is like out of there dropping nukes. Not many people in the game be dropping nukes, so it's very interesting to see that.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's good to encourage people to do that as well because we need more people out there dropping nukes, starting those boss battles.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on, let's talk about the Gleaming depths. Can you speak to me about what introducing raids and other challenging content for long-time players back into Fallout 76 means to you? And can we expect to see more frequent content drops like this in the future?
Yeah, so as an avid player of the game, and really everybody on the team plays this game a ton, things that I want to see in the game kind of really similar to like the community feedback we get from our players. I've always said in the past, Bethesda Game Studios has the best community in gaming, and I mean it. We read everything that gets put up about our game from our community, and watching that over time, kind of taking that feedback and those impressions and maybe not dialing into like specific things like I want this crazy wig for the atomic shop, which is fine too, but looking at the broader strokes, right, of the feedback. And something that we had noticed was that our in-game players, and that's really, like folks that are kind of levels 100 plus, have done the Scorch Beast Queen a number of times and are kind of looking for something new. We're looking for a bigger challenge, so thought, okay, challenge accepted. So that's where Gleaming Depths came from, the raid. It also serves as a vessel to give them that next step up in power that players have been asking for years, which was the 4-star legendaries. So more updates like that in the future, I think it's pretty safe to say yes. Even harder challenges than Gleaming Depths, possibly, awesome. Most likely. But the feedback on PTS so far has been overwhelmingly positive. We had a lot of really devoted streamers and players of the game who came in and they're like, fuck, this is hard. It's like, great, it's supposed to be. And they're like, yeah, it's perfect. I got my ass kicked and I loved it.
That's exactly what we want.
Yeah, it's exactly what we want. So yeah, I think the feedback has really encouraged us to think about more types of updates like this or other ways to bring in even harder challenges and really engage with our late game players. Not only our late game players, but when this update comes out, I'm expecting to see a lot of those really high level folks jumping into Gleaming Depths. But I'm also expecting to see a lot of our lower level folks who aren't quite powerful enough to do that going through all the other content. Like everything's gonna get a boost so that they can level up, gear up, and be ready for those challenges too.
Yeah, like sets them a goal, like you'll get to this point eventually, be able to take on this harder challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to hear that because I'm definitely a late game player. I've got 5 tunes. They're all, well, 3 of them are 500 plus level.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 are 300 plus.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely up there wanting more harder content on one of those players, and seeing this, playing through it for the first time on PTS, loved every second of it. Great challenge, figuring it out on the go.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a good experience, and definitely looking forward to more harder content like that.
Did you get through it? Have you been?
I did get through it. I've got one video up on my channel of me first impressions straight away, figuring it out as I go. Failed.
Yeah.
Stumbled, but we got there. And then after trial and error, then I got a video of myself doing it solo. So I'm definitely like, I know what to do in that.
Oh,
so
sure.
like now I know exactly what's going on in the raid.
Oh, good.
And my character's built around it now, so yeah, I can beat that solo now.
Wow, that's impressive. Cool.
Alrighty, moving on to the next question. Gleaming Depths is straight up incredible. Visually gorgeous and imposing all the right emotions and reactions from players. I have a history and background in MMOs, and I was blown away at every step of Gleaming Depths as I played through for the first time. The raids felt like they have had some inspirations from MMOs. I'm just wondering if there was any collaboration with other studios like ZeniMax on the creation of the raids, and can we expect to see more of this MMO-like content coming to Fallout 76?
Possibly. It's something I really like about Gleaming Depths and bringing ghouls into the game too. Making ghouls so much different than humans and offering such varied challenges as what you run into in the Gleaming Depths is really going to start encouraging players to start filling roles. I don't think most people can beat Gleaming Depths by themselves.
No, that's definitely
and are going to need groups, right? So they'll need a support class of sorts, which ghouls are great at that. Some of the charisma perks are really, really good and could work out really well in Gleaming Depths. You might have people that really want to focus on DPS, who might be ghouls. Folks who want to focus on tanking could be humans because they have the power armor. Power armor doesn't work so great for ghouls because of the radiation blocking. Ghouls need that radiation. We're all gamers. We've at the studio we've all played different MMOs, right? We've played Elder Scrolls Online. We've sort of taken inspiration from all these and shaping up sort of like the rhythm of this first raid encounter. If we do future raids down the road, they could be completely different formats, but still offering the same or even harder challenges.
I love that. So that's just looking at some of the ghoul stuff early then in the little playtest, I could see some of the perks were definitely like, not so much healer, but like combat medic orientated.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good way to introduce more role specific stuff. Because a lot of raids do revolve around the Holy Trinity, DPS, tank, healer. So it's definitely a good way to introduce it. So far I'm liking what I'm seeing with all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and we'll see what players do with it. I mean, the community always surprises us with what they do with the building blocks we give them. It's like, oh, they'll never, and of course they do. Like all sorts of stuff. Some of it requires patching, but that's another discussion. But with the ghoul perks, the 28 new perk cards and the 2 new legendary perk cards, it's kind of like an initial offering, right? It's down the road, future patches here and there. I'd love to sprinkle in more perk cards, both for humans and for ghouls, just to sort of encourage even more varied play styles. Yeah,
I love that. That sounds awesome. Looking forward to what the future holds with the ghouls and all the roles that come with it.
Yeah.
A new playable race has been a much requested feature across all of Fallout, but in Fallout 76. And with the ghoul coming, I wanted to ask, where did the decision come from to make that a reality, first of all? And does this potentially open the door to see more playable races in the future? It's been requested alongside ghouls with super mutants and some other ones that are introduced with 76 as well, new races. So
what we've discussed players becoming ghouls for a long time. And the snag we kept running into was, well, why? What's the reason? What we didn't want to do is release ghouls and simply have it be, hey, now I look like a ghoul. We wanted there to be very distinct mechanics and a very compelling reason to become a ghoul, not just a hollow sort of visual change. And so it's all these features that we've got coming out over the next year and a half or so. They all really relate to one another, and it kind of starts with Gleaming Depths and imposing those harder challenges on players. Players are going to want to explore more ways to play through in-game content, right? They're going to want those challenges. And so what Ghoul does, bringing that in as a very distinct, different way to play the game, is it gives us a reason to bring it in now, right? It's like, oh, this makes sense. It just kind of happened to coincide with the show and the main character in the show being a ghoul, which doesn't surprise me because ghouls are awesome, right?
Absolutely,
Of course they're gonna gravitate to a ghoul. Of course we're gonna want to put ghouls in the game because players love ghouls. So as far as like future races, I mean, it's something we've talked about, not made plans for, but it would need to have a very compelling reason to do it, right? Like if you said super mutants, okay, well, what gap in the game is that gonna fill? What's that gonna give players other than just a different look? Some players may just want the different look, right? But I think most players would want that different look and the feel, something that makes them actually feel like a super mutant.
Right.
Yeah, so no concrete plans for that now.
Yeah.
But it's open for discussion for sure.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Just off the top of my head, if you'll indulge me, super mutants, brutes, melee, very tank and taking damage focused. We spoke about roles with the ghoul being more of a medic sort of role. That, hearing what you're saying, that could open up the door with a super mutant being more of a tank focused role in the raid situation going forward.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
Just bouncing off what you've said there, but yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah. And with our final question here, the Fallout TV show, amazing success, brought a lot of new eyes to it, to the game side of things. As the creative director on Fallout 76, if there was one thing you could add from the TV show to 76, what would it be and why?
Junk jet.
Junk jet.
Yeah,
yes.
no hesitation. Yeah, junk jet, because really you need a Y? Yeah.
Yeah, don't need a Y.
Yeah, don't need a Y.
Just absolutely awesome.
Junk jet.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that and I was like, oh my God, yeah. So that would be the one.
Yep. Any more, like just junk jet straight up?
Junk jet's where my mind keeps going. Yeah.
For me personally, the only thing that I would like to add would be the ghoul revolver.
Oh.
Yeah, especially alongside Playable Ghouls.
Yeah.
That's like a match made in heaven now.
Yeah, that's been talked about internally too. It's like, we should. Awesome. It's like, okay. And it's kind of the same discussion as like, why did we put ghouls in the game? It's with that, it's like, okay, well, what deficit is that going to fill? Like what niche is that going to fill for players? So we need to discuss that one a bit more. But that is definitely a cool weapon.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely badass, if you pardon my French.
Yeah. Although I have to ask, if you had to choose between that and junk jet.
That's tough, because I did love the junk jet, especially the OG in Fallout 3, the rocket launcher. That was a lot of fun to play with. I would have to personally go with the ghoul revolver, just the explosive shotgun-esque revolver thing, whatever it is.
I love the sound.
Yeah, it's just so
it's
so impactful. I would have to go with the ghoul revolver personally.
Solid answer.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Jonathan. That was incredible. Thank you so much for this experience and for allowing me to interview. Really appreciate it, and you've given some great insight to the future of Fallout 76 for me personally, and answered some questions I really want to know.
Awesome.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you for your continued support and enthusiasm, and for taking some time to talk to me today.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Cheers.
Alright guys, and that's the interview. Once again, huge shout out to Jonathan Rush. You're an absolute legend, mate, and it was an honor to interview you. A huge shout out to Kim, the ANZ community manager, and the rest of Bethesda that signed off on allowing me to go to London in the first place. It was truly surreal, spontaneous, and once in a lifetime opportunity for myself. I genuinely enjoyed every moment of the trip. Like I said, surreal experience, and I'm just over the moon that I was lucky enough to be involved in this project. Now, this was my very first ever interview, my very first time interviewing someone else. I'm normally the one that gets interviewed, so this was a bit of a switch up for me and very, very weird for me to do. Probably notice in my voice I've got a little bit of a case of shaken confidence, but we got through it, and I'm glad I have that experience under my belt now. Once again, huge shout out to John for allowing me to interview and ask these questions, and huge shout out to Kim for being my camera person and also making all this possible. And with all that said, let's roll the outro. That's going to do it for me. A massive shout out to all of my channel members. You're all legends, and thank you for your continued support on the channel. If you like what I do here and you'd like to support me further, then consider becoming a member or check out my merch store. We've got a lot of great designs and benefits, so be sure to check that out in the description. And while you're down there, chuck me a follow on my other social medias and join my Discord. Subscribe if you're new and like the video if you've enjoyed. I've been TYR, and I'll catch us in the next one. Welcome to Valhalla.